to come hang, so we'll talk about this, and then when it comes down to it, I have a crew ready next door to play out some scenarios. So we're going to go over coaching, debriefing, and mentoring. So Heather Funkhauser III, why is there a heart and a brain on that slide? We know the whistle, you being a previous law enforcement officer in the past, we have to have the whistle to protect traffic. Why would there be a heart and a brain on there when we're talking about coaching, debriefing, and mentoring?
The brain, because you have to be able to know when the appropriate moment is for coaching versus mentoring, and the heart, because you have to do so with compassion, using question marks instead of knife hands and statements.
I feel like you went to the Hallmark section and read off of all the cards. I like that. Tim Austin Adams.
He's not a third?
No, there's only one.
Esquire.
Why would there be a heart and a brain on there when we're talking about coaching, debriefing, and mentoring?
I think that you've got to have the knowledge to be able to provide useful information, but you also have to have compassion and the emotional aspects to know, like, we're not just coming at you to tell you you messed up and fix it. We're here to try and make you better.
Okay. I like it. All right. Nelson Macarena, what do you got? Oh! First one of the day. Got one down. Dang it. Why heart and a brain? What do you think?
To reiterate some of what they said, you gotta have heart, you gotta have compassion. You have to, the person receiving also has feelings, and you have to have empathy when you are considering why they may have done what they did. It's not always black.
Okay. Perfect. So your end point was that, I love putting just pictures up because you can ask, it's like those little weird things psychiatrists use with like the little finger paints. And you see, what do you see? I see a bull rhino on Tuesday drinking a Slurpee, and they're like, what? You put a picture up, you ask people what they think, and it just spreads the idea. The intent of the picture was the last about 20% of what you said. When we're coaching, debriefing, and mentoring, and we're trying to get to the root of why we're hanging out, is it a heart problem or a brain problem? Is it 5 o'clock in the afternoon and they let dinner on the table make their decision for them and they cut corners? Or is it a lack of knowledge and we actually have to tune that up? How many of us have ever met the person who is super book smart, but when they hit the road, they struggle to put it to hand? You ever met one?
All the time.
All the time, right? Why does that happen?
I'll walk into that.
No names. This is a nameless organization, as we've been branded everywhere like cattle in a herd. Why does that happen? Why can you meet somebody who is the A+ rock star in the classroom, can do all the things, they hit the road, and you're like, this is not the person that graduated school yesterday with 122%, doing the extra essays because they live in their mom's basement playing Xbox. Why?
That's a good question.
That's why I asked it. And I have photographic evidence.
It's the parent's job. No.
We can't do parent-teacher conferences with adults in there. Why does that happen?
I think it's a lack of, when, for example, medics, we're going through the preceptor part, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's a lack, maybe there's a disconnect between the preceptor and the intern, going back to the early part. And also it's how the early part, when they first came in the fire department, how they saw their officer or their peers performing. And sometimes there is a disconnect there. I think with the mentoring, the coaching, and the debriefing, I think you can overcome that, but you have to work at it. And you have to know when, the brain, you have to know when to do that, and the heart is how to build them up at the same time.
Okay. Why, if you were a student, I'm going to go on a limb and say A+ student at Yale, let's say you came out, you struggled the first little bit. Why does somebody have a vast amount of knowledge, but an inability to put it in action, especially early on?
It's interesting because like a lot of post-it notes of why. I first start with, I noticed you're struggling on fine. You're really good at testing and you can articulate it, you voice it, but you're having trouble applying it. Why? I can think of a number of whys, including but not limited to, you may have no experience. You may have read a whole lot, but never seen a patient, and so that you know it if I tell you what it is, but you wouldn't recognize it if it smacked you in the face and brought you a cup of coffee in the morning. And that may be part of it. It may be that you're overwhelmed by patient interview and the social aspects and the human aspects that I can't access that knowledge. The knowledge is in my brain, but I'm so short-circuited by the emotional tone and tenor of the interaction that I can't access it. Then, this is limited, and I put this up there because I hope this is a rarity. You may have heart disease. Heart disease in that, yeah, I just don't really care. So
Sure.
those would be among the things that I would consider.
And is the heart disease always acute and forever, or can the heart disease be acute and self-resolving?
We're all works in progress. So
All works in progress. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would make me curious. If it is heart disease, wow, what's going on? Everybody wants to know who's Batman, but nobody asks how is Batman.
Good point.
Assume positive intent.
And so positive intent. Okay. What do you got, Beth? What do you think? Why is somebody, you've seen enough people come through the rock stars and then they hit the road and you're like, why would Steve Hartman do that? His hair looks great. His boots are crisp.
Steve wouldn't do that, but going.
He just adjusted in the back, so I had to get him.
Oh, okay. Sometimes the heart issue does belong to somebody not in the fire department.
Right.
I have noticed there's an increasing number of folks who are charming and glib and witty and clever with their thumbs and don't have very good interpersonal skills. Not because they can't, but because they haven't been exposed to it. We aren't the connected, eye contact, let's sit and chat and hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
I love your examples. Yeah. Yes, you can touch the cooch ball, Easton. What you got?
Did I shoot at people?
No.
No, I think living with one, there's a subset of the population that is neurodivergent or whatever you want to call it, that is just incapable really of crossing that border.
Sure.
Short of an extensive amount of training. You can think of at least one person in the department that jumps out in front of you. Oh, okay, you want to give the name?
No. I do have
There's one.
Talking about the heart disease.
Yeah.
I think that also people can be book smart. They've been in the department for a while. They've seen it. They are good hands-on, but after a while they get jaded and they're like,
Sure.
And I think that's a problem.
You can only shoulder so many people's baggage until that weight starts to push you down too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's not something you can squat out in the gym or Jake workout can make you resilient to. So at the end of the day, and we live in a world where bells run our organization. If you're naive to the fact that the telestaff bell doesn't control 90% of our operations, you're crazy. So if you look at the things that load us, it's all the stuff you said. And you guys hit on all of it. What does it mean? You hit on what coaching, the skills, you hit on everything. What I was getting at in the first part is it a heart problem, meaning their heart is in the wrong spot because of some things we'll hit on here in a second, or is it a knowledge gap? I think with the changes in education, there's been an ultra reluctance. If you don't know, here's your little street lesson. The National Registry's changed its modeling over the past decade of how students are evaluated from a knowledge and competency-based perspective. It's become a lot more scenario-based. It's not just hour-based. With that being said, having had the opportunity to hang with some people in this room, at tables with other people not in this room, just because you have a card doesn't mean you have an experience set. You have a competency base. So it's important for you all to understand when somebody comes out fresh and they say things confidently and they act like they know what they're talking about. In the fire department, the worst thing that can happen is somebody say something confidently. If at 2 o'clock in the morning, Tim's like, yes, field amputate the leg, and I'm dog tired because I'm on 60 hours, I might be like, let's take the leg, that makes sense, yeah. He said it, so I could trust him. When we're looking at those individuals that come out, we continue to trim back the experience. We continue to trim back the recruit school. We've now trimmed back the internship because we need the bells to go away again. Just remember, every time we trim somewhere, it's that much less of a Rolodex that person's going to have recallability when they're by themselves at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. So all the stuff you and John were talking about when somebody gets vapor locked, makes a bad decision, doesn't know what to do, can't hold the line, it's because in most instances, they do not have that experience pool to draw from. That's why everybody in here has a decent amount of sets and reps under their belt. And back to the heart part, everybody has a story. How many people have met the person that defines themselves at the coffee table, which is essentially the place where you can solve any problem in the world, is any firehouse coffee table, and says, I've been doing this for 25 years. That's cool. That's cool. Time doesn't equate ability. How about the person, and this is the poll I want to do before I retire. How many people have met the person who got their lunch money stolen all through school, and this is their ability to essentially obtain a rebranding, right? They live with this uniform where we put all these things on here. That just means one more test than you took, or this is this, or that is that. So if you're trying to figure out a person's why, you need to know their backstory. And to Easton's point, that person's backstory might be that person from the time that they popped out, or it might be something that formed that individual a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 10 minutes ago, a phone call they got on the way to work, but they don't want to tell Steve, I need to go home because I got a shit train falling off the tracks at home, but I want to hang with my crew. So they're rebranding. This is one thing I think our organization is huge on. This business, right? We have a societal facade that we can bring in, or a cape that we can put on our back and say, I work for the fire and rescue department. I'm a paramedic. I'm a firefighter, right? I fight what you fear, all the bumper stickers, t-shirts. We know Easton has a NASCAR's worth of bumper stickers all over his car. But for some people, this is the first team they've ever been on. And so if you go back to, I was going to put a little video of Bobby Boucher on here, but we all know the water boy. It is hard to play on a team if you've never played on a team. Because sometimes you're on the team, but you're not the star player on the team, and that you're not the one getting all the goals and the reps. But you need to communicate, to Beth's point, verbally in our game. We don't text like, hey, Tim, can you 300 ammo? Yeah, LOL. Right? They like the gang effect. We all have the stations we know. You're going to go to different areas where there's a very much gang mentality. So you have to appreciate the fact that the manager of that gang, the kingpin of that gang, might be the person trying to bump you out of that dialogue. So you're trying to meld in all these situations and understanding what has built that person's house up.
And you become they.
And become they. So to be part of the team, you need to let them know you got the same jersey. That's easy. That starts at 0700. But you want the same score, right?
Well, and you have a new role.
You do have a new role.
I had really close relationships with 357 ALS providers in this organization when I was their teacher at MSEP. And then I came to work with the fire department. And suddenly I was several people, some of my closest friends and adjuncts, I was suddenly the ex-wife. I had become they, because I was in the office I was at headquarters in the EMS.
The head shed. The Tower of Power, right?
At the Puzzle Palace.
At the Puzzle Palace, yeah. At what used to be the Massey common spelling, right?
Yep.
Tim, what's this picture mean to you? Got to work on that catching the peripheral vision slow. What does that picture mean to you?
Communication skills. Get off your phone, talk to me.
Okay, perfect. So it says a bunch of things to you. I appreciate a person who can find the multiple things I spent a lot of time in Canva trying to pull out. Dan, what's it mean to you? Oh! That's a nice recovery, man. He saved your life. We'll put him in for an award, and we'll let you give him the award. There we go. Nice work out there. That was. He didn't even. Yeah. What does that mean to you? What's that picture mean to you?
There's opportunity for growth.
Opportunity for growth. All right. I like that.
Choose wisely.
He's probably dying for her to join him on that.
Oh, God. I have a badge. I just hurt my shoulder, man. Thank you for your report.
All right, fair enough. Kooshball took him down. Not work performance, not anything else.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a barrier up, right?
Yeah. So do you ever have employees that come to work to get away from home?
Yep.
Because home is a struggle, yeah? And this says a lot, and you did a phenomenal job. Here's to Beth's point, the communication, right? One person not on a digital device, another person on a digital device, closed shoulders out and away from the person, the other person's completely disengaged. On many levels, this is lack of communication and struggle. We have many people that come to whatever station they work at or the head shed to get away from things they can't control at home. And if they're coming to work to get away from that, just know where their mind is ahead of time. What does this mean? Chief, what does that mean?
Well, that's Moderna making some bucks.
Okay, all right. No.
There's different, I'm not sure the 17,000, but I'm seeing, you're talking about hard motivation. Some people are here for money, some people are here for the science.
What if I told you that this was about the cost of in vitro fertilization, and you may have some people coming to work that are on their third attempt? And they're in
the guy with 5 kids. About in vitro fertilization.
Yeah, but he's like, I think it means money, crypto, Bitcoin. I don't know. I have millions. I don't know.
Jesus, kids.
I should have put a Huffy up on with Dave riding his bike to work, but I didn't. So that might be the person who's working the 60 hours to offset the cost of the third round of this just to have one child. And that weighs in their head. So when you run...
Complaining about 5.
Huh?
Especially when I complain about the 5.
Especially when you complain about the 5. So think about the financial burden on that person. And we always say, like, we get paid a lot of money. We do get paid a lot of money. And a lot of people do it for the money. Doing it for the money depends on the person. So have that in the back of your head. How about this? What does this mean?
I see sickness, end of life, aloneness.
Okay.
What does it mean?
Yeah, like what would it mean to a person? In relation to a person's mindset. Why would I pick this picture?
Mindset or
Their
their mindset?
mindset.
Their mindset?
Like what might this, let's say this isn't the person, but this is a person in one of your coworkers' lives. That's
Oh yeah, like you have to know your people because you never know what they're going through. Because you start to see someone act differently. Now they may like done things on calls that they weren't typical behavior. They're coming in late. They're taking off a lot more. Because caring for a sick parent, I'm sure so many people in the fire department have this. It's very stressful. It's a very trying time in life. It's depressing. It's sad. It's horrible and awful. And you are different. So I think knowing what's going on with your people is very important.
Sure. And if you're emotionally bagged, we'll say, with this incident at home, do you have the resilience at work?
I mean, so we do need to still come to work, most of us.
Yes or no question?
Oh, no, absolutely, 100%.
Should you or can you are two different things.
Should you or can you?
Should you
Should you what?
have the emotional resilience at work, even if no matter what's happening at home?
Yes.
Can you always?
No.
Okay, perfect. And that's okay to say that, right? We say we say all this stuff and we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves, and then we get into trouble and we're like, I don't understand how this happened. I do. You're burnt out. Yeah. So some things when we're going forward, and that was to set you up on the mindset part of maybe their heart and their mind are good, but one of those is teetering opposite of each other because of one of those other things going on, because they're about 30 grand in the hole for IVF and they've still been unsuccessful. Or they just found out that it was positive last week and the genetic testing came back and it's not gonna happen.
Or this is their 5th or 6th try.
Yes. And weirdly enough, we're becoming more and more in that world with our sleep patterns, health patterns, right? So,
And the job itself is not conducive to successful pregnancy.
it's very accurate. When we're going into the stuff we're going to hit on here, and to marry up to what John said earlier, do not sacrifice good for best. Just remember, just because you roll in and something isn't going the way you want, it doesn't mean it's not going the way it should be going. for that patient. And while this is our office, to John's point earlier, because this is what you regularly hear, let's get you out to our office. That is our office, but this is also our office, and this is also our office, and this is also our office. And we all check off an international flight of baggage every morning, right? On the first day we log it into PS Tracks, we check off. We carry it in like Sherpas, neurotically, and then we all turn around and carry it back out with the patient and then unfold it in the back of the unit. If we have all this stuff to do it at the patient's bedside where they've been calibrated to that environment, we should be encouraging people to do that. So it's our goal to take negative things and convert them positively. And when we roll up, we should calm the situation, down throttle their adrenal glands. Why else is it important to have down throttled adrenal glands, Tim, when we're talking about coaching, mentoring, and debriefing?
Because if the physiology behind it, if you're choosing the wrong time to do that and they haven't had a chance to decompress a little bit from what they just went through, they're not going to be as receptive to the constructive criticism that you may be offering.
You're in the black, Tim.
Yeah.
How good is the dialogue? I have been guilty of this many a time. There's two gentlemen in the back that have seen it, not on the best. When you've just run this train wreck that's holding on by the thread of life, you're on the side of the road, it's wet outside, and you go into the trauma bay, and you get, well, why didn't you? Not from them. Why didn't you? And you're like,
Yeah.
like I'm still in saber-tooth defense mode. Don't hit me with that shit right now, right? Because of this, this, and this. Don't hit them at the same time. Allow them to down throttle, because what is their brain still thinking if their adrenaline is up?
Still trying to process.
Yeah.
Still trying to fight or flight. They're still in a defensive state. Yeah, perfect. Which is why the police community has learned to give individuals, keep them separated, keep them in your custody, but give individuals the time to down throttle so that if you ask them questions, did you see John Winstead shoot the gun? Yeah, it was a bazooka and he shot 57 times. They're like, 57 times, 57 times. Versus you give me a time to calm, cool, and collect myself, and I go, I did see John Winstead there. It looked like a 22, and he has big sausage fingers, so I don't even think he got a round off. Allowing that person to calm down allows their brain to collect its thoughts and to think through. So that when you show up, you don't look like this going into the call, right? Disrupting everything that was happening because you have arrived. Marine, what is this? What is this a picture of?
Oh, that's a bulkhead on a ship.
Bulkhead. What's the job of a bulkhead?
To keep the water out or in.
Okay. So if you roll in and you see a bulkhead closed like this, like theoretically, right? And you roll into a situation, you see things going into play. And your assumption is like, oh man, we need to be doing this, this, and this. Do you know that that wasn't just what happened and that they didn't just prevent that from making the problem worse? No. So this is the beauty of debriefing. The beauty of debriefing lets us parse things or peel things back while we probe with questions. So it's never our goal, or we don't know anything until, or it's not our goal to pass judgment. We don't know anything until we've actually let those individuals go through that recall phase. We don't want this.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? We have sort of a problem here. Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I forgot. Yeah. You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all to
Do you know when the 2-minute timer was? Yeah, we're going to need to do the 2-minute timer.
I just forgot. But it's not shipping out till tomorrow, so there's no problem. Yeah. If you can just go ahead and shoot that now, that would be great. And I'll go ahead and shoot it. Okay? Yeah.
Great debrief, right? Yeah. All right. So when we're debriefing, we have 2 ears, 1 mouth. We need to listen way more than we talk. And in fact, the trick to good debriefing is just throwing one-liners out and letting the other person speak. And that sounds real easy, but we all know the individuals that want to talk and talk and talk. Here's the trick right here. Does anybody know what this stands for? You don't have to say it out loud. Do not get up and talk to try and debrief somebody and read them a story about yourself or this one time. You don't need to tell them your resume. This is about them, not about you. This is all you have to ask them. Do not start off with, hey Dan, what went well with that? Well, if you're asking me what went well, you're alluding the fact that something didn't what? Go well, right? And do I know that what you did was not the most correct for the opportunities you had in front of you?
Not without asking what happened.
Not yet, right? This is a little trick to get more opportunities out of your brain. So if Dr. Weir asked me, hey, Chris, walk us through your call, what does my brain start to do?
You think back to the start of the call and you kind of go in chronological order, at least from, what you were thinking when you were responding based on the CAD notes and the call type to what you saw when you walked up, why the decision rationale that you went with was made. Because even if something I did was wrong in the grand scheme of things, based on what I saw at the time, it could have made sense logically why I did that.
Right. And what did you just have my brain do with that experience?
Instead of getting defensive or anything else, I just thought back to the start of the call and walked you through start to finish.
So my brain experienced the call one time, and then you forced logic back into the beginning for me to experience it again. And then now, depending on how or where we revisit that, I may go back a third time, yeah? And then maybe a fourth time at the kitchen table when you're gone and I'm talking to the rest of your crew going, guys, I should have thought about X before Y. I realized that. Now you're filling my Rolodex with one real call by just teasing my brain to go back into those opportunities. So walk us through your call. Don't ask me what I did good. Don't ask me what I did bad. Don't ask me how do you think that went or how do you feel. Don't ask me that stuff. Ask me to live it. When I get to that point in my story and I'm telling you my story, I'll tell you how I felt. Yeah, so I walked in the door and here's one the other day Dan asked me about. I walked in the door and we got dispatched for Charlie and the guy walks outside and says, oh, hey, yeah, I'll take you upstairs. They're doing CPR. What's that now? I get upstairs and you hear, boop, clear. Oh, no shit. All right, game on. So you walk upstairs, there's a crowd of people. You're bombarded by everybody who has a piece of information that has no importance to the call, but to them is important. So you try to parse out, okay, I'm going to give you my attention. The crew's working. We're revisiting the guy ABC. We're going back. This person wants to tell you the patient's face turned purple beforehand. Thank you so much. Go back. Sir, yes, what you got? They couldn't catch their breath before they gasped one time. Thank you so much. And then you go back through and you're like, I should have done a better job. When I was trying to be inclusive, I should have said, hey, I need a gatekeeper here because now everybody wants to tell me about the person's shoe size, zodiac sign, everything. So if you get me to walk back through that call, I can actually feel that environment or that moment or that, like, what did you say? They're dead? And if you get them to go back, I should have. You want my adrenals to down throttle so I'm not defensive, and you want while I'm going through to read my body language. If I stutter at a spot, or I pause at a spot, or I look up and to the left at a spot, or I change my body language at a spot, and that tells you I was uncomfortable with that moment. If I'm uncomfortable with that moment, I'm either uncomfortable with my decision, the delivery, or the outcome, or I'm uncomfortable with how that loaded my emotional shouldering because I maybe had this exact same situation just last week and it didn't go well, or I have the same situation at home. So when you get to that point, just ask probing questions. So tell us about the epinephrine. So tell us about the integration with the people that were doing CPR prior to the event. Well, we tried to integrate in, but we had to literally push one away because they were so in the zone. So what we did was we pulled the patient out into an open area. Thus, we had to move more people out of the way. Thus, more information that came up from individuals that really had no relevance. And you just let that person just peel through that call. Because what you'll find is there's going to be things that happened. We've all been there, right? We've all been where somebody's asked us a question and you're like, yeah, but, and you realize, oh, well, shit, I didn't put that in the EPCR, so they would have never known that, or I didn't really tell anybody, or it's something, my crew was task saturated, so I took the opportunity to deflect this. So when you're going through that and you're reading them and how they're changing their pattern, that's your opportunity for. So what else did you think about with the patient? or how did you feel about the individual pickling you with information that was really of no benefit to the care? No, I think I should have done a better job just having a, gatekeeper, right? So when we debrief, this is all we're trying to figure out is the fork in the road. Did we get to where we are because of a knowledge gap, because of a logistical gap, an operational gap, or is it heart disease? And that heart disease is acute because of life, or that heart disease is acute because they have just been an ass for 20 plus years in their career? Or to your point, they were great and I'm starting to see them steady decline because they're just toasted, right? Might be time for you to, hey, you got 2 seconds? I want to show you this new thing in the back of my buggy. What you got? Nothing. You've been great for a long time and you look like you're getting tired. Do you want me to help you try and find an opportunity for you to kind of take a rest, take back? No, I'm good. I know you're good. You're actually great. But what can we do to help preserve you so you last the full 25 with a positive mindset? And there are tons of opportunities in this organization. We have Op 6. We have lots of other opportunities out there that people can go. We have training. We have logistics. So at the end of the day, when you're debriefing and you're just bouncing off of people, your whole goal is to figure out, is it heart disease or a knowledge gap? And along these lines, how many of you have ever been involved in a performance improvement plan? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Where do those start? Where should those start? How about that? Station level. Not at the every other Tuesday meeting right? It should never get to the QA/QI department having said, we see this continuous trend with Austin Adams II, not the third, but the second. Like this, we need to talk to his management team. This should be your level. Having done one of the recent, use opportunities to get people just changed in their battalion, their riding assignment changed in their battalion. Hey, I'm gonna have you hop over to the medic for 2 tours and see how that works for you, just to get you some reps again. We have a controlled environment, and check in on them. Check in on them. And if they're not trending, please continue it forward. I can tell you this organization's performance improvement plan is the most optimistic, positive approach to getting people back ready versus a punitive approach to let's get them out of here. They will get ample opportunity, whether it's a operational reorg where you are, then next level they need to come up for sets and reps of objective-based scenarios. Just know the path. It should not get to the level of QA/QI.
That's also knowing your people too.
It is very much knowing your people.
If John Doe is going through a divorce, or the spouse has got cancer, then you need to think, should I refer them to mental health or something like that? Just not all of a sudden, hey, we need to sign this, and this is what we're going to do going forward.
I don't disagree with you. I will say this on recording. I think one of the things that we have in place in this organization is we have ambulance and engine houses or ambulance specialty houses where individuals can leave an initial education program, go through an internship program, and sit on a suppression apparatus and not mentor and encourage the BLS crews they run with to hop on and ride in. And I think that creates stasis pretty rapidly. And then we have a culture of protection, all for the good, but we have officers that regularly yeah, but that's my guy. I'll take care of it.
Right.
I understand. But for the next 2 tours, I've already moved him over to the medic unit up here, so we're going to go ahead and slide him in, and they'll be taken care of. We got you. There's enough dual hatters, we can make that stuff seamless, and people don't know. So I highly recommend that avenue because it's also a regular pulse check for people. So, any questions with debriefing?
So you talk about the protectionist thing, and that's all well and good, but so people who are moving up, you're not going to have the opportunity to know people as closely as you wish you could. But you have people in between, so you have that shift leader you can talk to and be like, hey, what's up? Like, the performance is not what it used to be. Oh, well, yeah, that's because they're going through, like that person probably will know when you might not. So you want to work with them and just be like, okay, try, it's not just talking directly with them all the time. Because as you're managing multiple stations, or if you're, I don't know, one captain in the whole division, then yeah, you're not going to be able to have that one-on-one anymore, but you're going to need to rely on some of those partnerships.
Yeah, go for it.
We also have seen people who don't, who perform at their best when they're at their home station and do all their acting out when they're on callback. So talking to the A401 to 401B to 401C, sharing issues that you've noted will ensure that more than one person knows the story. Because sometimes it doesn't get back to the home, what historically was the home EMS captain, because I'm only a jerk when I'm working with B and C shift. When I'm on A shift, I'm a rock star, because I know they won't put up with my shit.
Or I feel safe with them and I don't have to put on a tough facade when I'm with the other ones. Yeah, you're right.
So sharing, not to say we should, spend a half an hour at every shift change chatting, gossiping, but if something stuck with you, pass it on, because somebody else probably has seen it as well.
Back to
Good.
your debriefing.
Yeah.
Or asking them to walk through the call.
Yeah.
So do you let them go through the whole thing?
Yep.
Or do you pause them and say, well, hey, you glazed over your whole ABCs, but that's where I know I'm concerned. Like, can you pause
So
them and
if
say,
we were in education, it would be layered depending on how sharp the turn at the fork was. And on the street, I let them go through the whole thing. Because usually, I would say honestly, like 90+% of the time, you watch the light bulb kick, because they'll either be telling you the story, especially the ones that are reluctant. They're like, I walked in and you're like, got it. I don't need to do anything. You know what you did. And then they'll get to the end and they'll, I should have brought the monitor, or I should have had my jump bag, or I should have crawled up in the back and got my narcs. I forgot. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Cool. I don't need to do anything. I think about it like when, you're a parent, your kid messes up and they have stuff all over the wall, and you walk in, you're like, and they're like, shit. Yeah. So on the street, I would say let it run it all out. Having had the opportunity to do a bunch of those of the recent, they get to the end and they kind of self-actualize. And then if you have a couple with those individuals, and then you follow up with, hey, I know we got to hang out a couple times today. It was good hanging with you. I think it's going to be good for you. We're going to have you hop over to the medic unit up the street for a couple tours just to get some reps. It's been a minute. There's some things that are priorities that are getting missed. And this is just an example I'm giving you that just of the recent happened. And so we're going to set it up. I already got you moved on telestaff. I already talked to your boss, so everything's good. Everybody's green here. You'll be up there. That crew will take care of you. You have any questions, hit them up. And the only other expectation we have is you pick one topic to review every day when you go up there. Okay, yeah. So, because if you're hanging out, like happening to revisit something, and you're self-actualizing that, you're like, yeah, I should have done that. Yeah, nope. Yeah, I should have done that. Yeah, I should have done that. Multiple times. Especially, this is the frustration with some of the suppression-only riding ALS providers, because I honestly think what breaks our system is poor-hearted ALS providers. I think we have very well-intentioned BLS providers as a whole, and I think they're by far a backbone of our system. They just get allowed to deviate from what's good by some other people that have a different certification. When the suppression providers are the first on scene and the snowball starts, it makes it easier because you have 3 other people that want to do good, that recognize that because the ball got pushed faster than they want, they're now part of that. So they encourage the rest of it as well.
So something clicked with me there, and like as a new EMS provider, EMS captain, also those providers who are only on the AFR, which is the ambulance at their station. Like I feel like there's also that push, like if they make a decision, they're like, hey, I got to ride in for this, right? That's a decision that now affects 3 other people, right? And everybody wants to be liked, right? So there's always that push that's like, hey man, like I know I should probably ride on this, but I don't want to seem like the guy who's making everybody ride up to the hospital, right? So like
one call at a time.
Yeah, no, I agree, but just like having that, understanding that, and then like finding ways to kind of encourage the crews or encourage that provider, like, hey man, you're doing your job, like, you know, you do what's best for them. They're not gonna, you know, they want to do the right thing too, you know, or find ways to encourage them or thank them for, you know, riding along with it or whatever that is.
Can I piggyback off that?
Sure.
A great strategy with that exact example, which I've been gifted the opportunity to be teed up with, is no problem. We are fortunate to work in an organization where our transport units have the same diagnostic capacity as our AFRs. Leave the monitor defibrillator on the AFR, you have a BLS bag, you're still BLS capable, stay in service with your 3, you hop on and ride in for the patient who called you now. One call at a time, you got this one, they'll get the next one on their way to pick you up. And then it's not like, my engine's out of service in case a fire happens. We don't need to talk statistics. We have statistics people here. We know what 2% looks like. When you're talking about like giving them strategies so that they can stay successful with their officer, that's an easy one. You can stay in service. Just make sure you drop your AFR 1 off the roster. You're golden.
So pick them up. I'll take the counterpoint to, I think everybody in this room knows how irritated I am with the whole keep water in the first 2 thing. But
keep what?
Keep water in the first 2.
Oh.
Yeah, keep on the first 2.
I haven't heard
that.
that.
What's that? Like, if I'm gonna get off because I need to ride in, bring 1 or more of the BLS providers in. I don't want them in service. Come with me, learn.
Yeah.
See sick patients. Like one of the things we're talking about next or the next session is like modeling excellence. So we are very fortunate to have a very overall healthy patient population in short transport times. Like if it's a moderately interesting patient, bring them with you.
Yeah, bring your BLS provider. Even if you're not doing anything, it's like, hey, cool. Come hang out.
I'll tell you, you see a lot of fire trucks at hospitals now.
I love it.
You didn't used to. I honestly think that's an issue we keep. Like you see a lot, and for the good.
I chat with them all the time. Just like, hey, what's up? What'd you
for the good.
bring in?
Yeah.
Like, it's cool.
Yeah, and if it's rush hour or like standstill traffic, that's one thing to keep units in service. But like to your point, we've got 43 engines. We've got
hashtag hot lanes.
I mean, 39 engines, 43 transport units. It doesn't take that long. Crews don't care.
Yeah, just a couple, I'm gonna try to do these sometimes, kind of total transparency. I look forward to us having like bi-weekly or monthly sessions where we can brown bag lunch some of these too, because there's ones that have gone well and it's really rewarding and I feel like I really coached someone and helped them grow, and there's ones that have gone horribly wrong, and yeah. So I'll share some of the challenges that I've faced and lessons, and then hopefully we can all get better at them. One, doing them by teams is not a good strategy. Even when you're pressed with you're like one person and you're trying to get with them, you really hate being forced to do them that way. I really encourage you to do them face to face whenever possible and make it possible. The other piece is, you can be efficient with tasks, but you have to be effective with people. And so look at your calendar, see what they're doing. I don't want to impose on inconveniencing them. I want to catch them at a good time. And when I've been waiting 4 hours in the station and driving back and forth around the county chasing them sometimes, maybe now 5 hours into chasing you is not the best time anymore for me to sit with you. Because humanly, I've gotten to a headspace that maybe I might not be able to have this conversation with the nonverbal communication that I want to and I need to. And maybe doing it another day might be better than trying to do it. And I still struggle with that because I want to get it done. I forget the case by the time I get with them. They're on 4-day. And then Dave, you raised a great point. Like sometimes it feels like people filibuster. And I'm like, all right, do do you breathe? Have you breathed out of your eyelids? How, you've been talking for like 15 minutes. I can't get a word in edgewise. What it tells me is like, you aren't uncomfortable and you know something's going on. So you can't try to do it quickly. And sometimes, I don't know, I almost feel like I should do it in multiple bites and be like, all right, yeah, well, let's kind of reflect on it and come back another day.